And we'll begin with lighting of our unity candle. I had to change my setup since I'm in a new location. But here is our unity light that we light each week, representing that light of spirit that's within each and every one of us. We are the light of God. And so as we come together this morning, I invite you to join me in prayer. We pause and say, thank you, Spirit, for this day, for this time to be together, and this technology that allows us to meet here as a spiritual community. We come together knowing that God is all there is. And in that divine presence, we move, we live, we have our being, and we support each other. So we bless this day, we bless this time together, we call it sacred, and know that it is good and very good. I bless each one of us, that knowing that we will receive the message from Spirit that it has for us today. I release my word, and we seal it by saying together, and so it is. So good morning. Welcome to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Rick McCollum, and I want you to know that we are an inclusive spiritual community. We honor all paths to God, and we know that there are many ways to experience a relationship with the God of your understanding. So any path that leads to the divine, and we know all spiritual paths lead to that relationship with God. So everyone is welcome here, and we're glad that you're with us today. We'll move now to our opening song, and for this month, it is Grateful for Gratitude. And this is a song by Marcy Baruch, a New Thought artist.
Father God, thank you for your healing love. Holy, sacred light divine, thank you for this life of mine. Here I go. Whoa, whoa, I am grateful for the air I breathe. Whoa, I am grateful for the life in me. Whoa, I am grateful to be renewed. Whoa, grateful for gratitude, grateful for gratitude. And being here with you today makes me come alive and say, we are present, we are part of the one infinite heart. This I know. Whoa, I am grateful for the air I breathe. Whoa, life in me. Whoa, I am grateful to be renewed. Whoa, I am grateful for gratitude, grateful for gratitude, grateful for gratitude. And you are a gift upon this earth of truly unbelievable worth. So bring it, sister, brother, too. Magnificence is calling on you. Say hello. Whoa, I am grateful for the air I breathe. Whoa, I am grateful for the life in me. Whoa, I am grateful to be renewed. Whoa, I am grateful for gratitude, grateful for gratitude, grateful for gratitude.
And now we move to our time of spiritual reading, followed by meditation by our practitioner of the day, and that would be Tammy today. So Tammy?
I'm pulling out a reading. I don't know why it was at, but I'm going to read this. A history lesson. Isn't it ironic, then, that when we keep all of our attention on the 1 millionth percent of reality that is physical, are we missing something? Joe Dispenza. The universe withholds no good from us, but what belongs to us, we must take. Can we talk to God? Phil Graham, the former Washington Post publisher, famously said, "Journalism is the first rough draft of history. Journalists record what they believe to be true based on information gleaned from a variety of sources, some more closely connected to the situation than others. But in every case, it takes some time before all the details fall into place. The full truth reveals itself and the event can be put into perspective." In many ways, much like these journalists, every time we make a choice about our future, we are writing the first rough draft of history, our own personal story. What we write is based on our beliefs, backed up by what we or others have observed to be true. It makes perfect sense, but much in the same way that there is a difference between knowing and knowing with a capital K, there is a difference between truth and truth with a capital T. One is based beyond the physical realm, the domain of spirit. It has been said that the truth shall set us free, and spiritual truth frees us to evolve and grow in ways that we never knew were possible. The first draft of our history can be as rough or as refined as we want it to be, depending on which truth we choose to embrace. We can draft our history from consciousness of limitation, or we can write our story from a place of expansion and infinite possibility. Growth will happen either way, but the amount of joy in the journey will vary immensely. And the affirmation, "My inner knowing guides me every step, and truth lights the way." And so it is.
And so it is. So let's move to a time of reflection now. And I invite you to take a few deep breaths, to sit back and relax, allow your chair to support you fully as we move into a time of meditation. Knowing that God is all there is, and that this journey that we are on is a spiritual journey. So I invite you to think about that journey. Think about where you're moving with your spiritual truth. There are ideas that we teach in Science of Mind. And so let's consider the truth that God is all there is. Allow Spirit to talk to you about that idea, that God is all there is, and what does that mean for your life, for my life? If God is all I know, and I know God is good, then there is always good in my life. And I can see it when I look for it with that mindset that God is all there is. How do you view other people? If you're looking from that mindset that God is all there is, can you see Spirit in each one? Can you realize that we are one human family? No matter how people might try to divide each other or label one another, we are all children of the one God. Can you see in your mind's eye that one human family with such diversity and see how beautiful that is? Let's take another deep breath together and think about the spiritual truth that love, because God is all there is and God is love, love is all there is. And when we have that appearance of unlove or hate, that love is always stronger than hate. So picture in your mind's eye how your life might be different if you were coming from love in every one of your interactions. With people in the grocery, with neighbors, with coworkers, with family members. How would your life look different if you were coming from love, even with those people who push your buttons? So we breathe again, knowing that Spirit continually breathes us and breathes into us that love, that unconditional love which is always offered. And by having that unconditional love, we can share love with the world. We can be that beacon of light that brightens someone's day, that lightens their load because they can feel the love that comes from us. So we end with gratitude, saying, thank you, Spirit, that you are always faithful to us, that we can always turn to that divine presence within and feel that unconditional love, that we can turn and know the universal truth that God is all there is. And we are grateful. Grateful for these truths, grateful for our lives, and grateful to be able to share the light that we have received with the world around us. And so it is. Namaste. And now we'll move to our special music for today. I'll give you a little preview. My talk today is titled, A Playful Pause. You know, for the month of August, we're in this theme of a pause for guidance. So today we're taking a little playful pause. So I think you'll probably find this song to be a little playful. And this is titled, Don't Should on Me.
Late last night before repose, my sweetheart called me. Darling, you should hurry, you should come to bed, I'm cold. Shouldn't keep your baby waiting, you should be cooperating. You should learn to do the things you're told. Something in her tone of voice was somewhat less than kind. This person telling me the things I should or shouldn't do. Bell went off inside my head, ran right upside that bed. I said, baby, you should learn a thing or two. Like you should squeeze the toothpaste from the end, not from the top. You should pay attention to those prices when we shop. I think you should know better than tell me things that I should do. Don't should on me and I won't should on you. That's your part, good. And while we're on the subject, here are certain other things from here you should be aware of. I should think you should show little things, but ones I'm sure you really should take care of, like the way you think and everything you know. You should watch the way you eat. I think you're eating too much meat. Think that you should change the clothes you wear. You should change your TV channels, those polyester sheets to flannels. You should change the way you do your hair. I only want what's best for you. If you've ever heard that, sing it with me. I only want what's best for you. Why ever won't you listen? I should know by now what you should put your emphasis in. We should all know better than to tell each other what to do. Don't should I mean, I won't should I mean. So nowadays we'll understand. Now my baby's less demand. No hard feelings, best regards, sincerely yours, it's true. When we start to say you should, we stop, because it's understood. Don't I guess it's only human nature, Homo sapien nomenclature, minding everybody else's business but your own. With you should this, you should that, you know what I've been getting at. Sometimes we should leave well enough alone. This song is almost over, I'm relieved that we got through it. I know it was a shitty job, but someone had to do it. Tell each other what to do. Don't shut on me, I won't shut on you. Don't shut on me, and I won't shut on you.
So I thought that was a really fun song. And some of you might even have found some truth in those words. Today our talk is a playful pause. And you know, humans are inherently playful. It's easiest to see this trait in young children. The kids enjoy playing and interacting with life and with each other. It's an indication, really, of our true nature as spiritual beings having a human experience. You know, children don't worry about whether they're playing too much or whether they should be working instead of playing. They're just enjoying themselves, aren't they? They're fully present in the moment, and they're allowing Spirit to guide them, to inspire them. They don't even realize that it's Spirit that's providing this playfulness, this creativity, this joy. But these are all God qualities, and we all have them within us if we will just allow ourselves to express them freely. We can express them without any kind of guilt or shame. We should be playful, creative, and having fun. You see, Spirit wants us to enjoy life. But are we allowing ourselves to express these qualities? I think for many people, they have bought into the message that we're only productive or worthy if we're working to accomplish something. Have you ever heard that message in your life? I think society tries to tell us that hard work is necessary. And there is a place for work, but there's also a place to be playful, to relax, to enjoy life. Science of Mind teaches us that it's far more important to remember our oneness with God and to stay in that flow and connection with Spirit. You see, we were created as human beings, not human doings. So are we concerned with how we're being, or are we most concerned with what we're doing? Can we pause and remember the truth of who we are? Can we know that Spirit really wants us to enjoy life, to be free and have fun? You know, the abundance of the universe is available to us, and we're the only ones who tell ourselves a different story. We're the ones who can limit our lives by saying, oh no, we can't have that, or we shouldn't be doing that. Don't should on ourselves, and don't should on someone else. My parents used to tell all of us children that if you laugh before dinner, you'll cry before bedtime. Now, that little rule of theirs never made sense to me. I knew people who laughed all day long, and they enjoyed life all day and all night. So why could we not laugh before bedtime or before dinner time? It was their way of trying to keep us from being too playful. We needed to be working. I grew up on a farm, and we had a large garden, and we all needed to be working to harvest the vegetables or plant the vegetables or weed the garden. And so there wasn't time to be giddy and play. You've heard me talk in the past about science of mind as a philosophy, teaching us how to think, not what to think. And that's one of the messages that I want to give us today. On page 29 of our textbook, we read, "To learn how to think is to learn how to live. For our thoughts go into a medium that is infinite in its ability to do and to be. Humans, by thinking, can bring into their experience whatever they desire, if they think correctly and become an embodiment of their thoughts. This is not done by holding thoughts, but by knowing truth." So when we know the truth of ourselves, when we know universal truths, and we apply them and embody them in our lives, like Tammy talked about in her reading today, the spiritual truths of our lives make us come alive. And in our meditation, looking at these truths of God is all there is, when we embody these in our life, we have much more life. We have a more interesting life, and we're sharing that with others. So I don't want to tell you what you should be thinking, but I do want to teach you to think using spiritual principles and universal truths. When we know things like God is all there is, then we can trust God and stop fearing that something bad is going to happen. When incidents happen in our life, we will deal with those, but we don't need to keep thinking about them, so we bring them about. When we know that there's nothing to oppose us, that God is all there is, then we can feel safe, and we can actually close our eyes and feel that divine embrace when we are communing with God. Nothing we do or say or experience can be outside of God. When we know the spiritual truth that we are one human family, we stop looking at those differences and we see God in each person. We stop dividing and labeling people, but we see that we are one human family. We know one group or one person is not better or favored over another. And so, as spiritual beings, we can act like this. Act like everyone is a child of God, because we are. Then we're thinking from a place of love and acceptance of all people. Another spiritual truth here is that there's a creative process. That is, spirit in us is the creative process, and it's always listening to our thoughts. So we can choose our thoughts to create the life we want. We can be mindful so that we're blessing people and situations, not cursing them. Remember that whatever we put out into the universe is going to come back to us. So let's make sure what we're getting back is a blessing. Know that our thoughts are powerful. They set the law of cause and effect into motion. So we can choose our thoughts so that we make sure that we're focused on those things we value, on living by spiritual principles and universal truths. Knowing that love is more powerful than hate, yes, we can choose love, and that certainly changes the energy of our life, doesn't it? We can live with compassion, and when we do that, we find that same compassion returning to us. Whatever we're putting out into the world is going to return to us. That's a universal truth, that law of reciprocity. Now the list goes on and on for how to think using spiritual principles and universal truths. So the question is, are you taking responsibility to learn how to think? Or are you just going with the general population that says this is right or that's the way it is? You see, most of the world is not on a spiritual path, a conscious spiritual path. So they're not thinking by using spiritual principles and truths to guide them. And sometimes when we are on a spiritual path and we're living by spiritual principles and universal truths, to those around us that are not living that way, it may seem like we're really odd people. So today I want to share with you another Dr. Seuss story, so we can be a little playful, but it's going to illustrate the importance of learning and thinking, how to think. Now the book I'm reading excerpts from today is Dr. Seuss' Hooray for Diffin' Doofer Day. And I found that this is a story many people may not even have heard of before. So let me share my screen here so that I can give you a few of the pictures and images from this book. We get the PowerPoint to go the right way. Here we go. So, it starts out, I've always lived in Dinkerville. My friends all live here too. We go to Diffendorfer School. We're happy that we do. Our school is at the corner of Dink Zuper and Dink Zont. It looks like any other school, but we suspect it's not. We think we're learning lots of things not taught at other schools. Our teachers are remarkable. They make up their own rules. Miss Bobble teaches listening. Miss Wobble teaches smelling. Miss Fribble teaches laughing, and Miss Quibble teaches yelling. Miss Twinning teaches tying knots in neckerchiefs and noodles, and how to tell chrysanthemums from miniature poodles. Miss Vinning teaches all the ways a pigeon can be peppered, and how to put a saddle on a lizard or a leopard. My teacher is Miss Bonkers. She's as bouncy as a flea. I'm not certain what she teaches, but I'm glad she teaches me. Look, look, she chirps. I'll show you how to tell a cactus from a cow. And then I shall instruct you why a hippo cannot hope to fly. She even teaches frogs to dance and pigs to put on underpants. One day she taught a duck to sing. Miss Bonkers teaches everything. Of all our teachers in our school, I like Miss Bonkers best. Our teachers are all different, but she's differenter than the rest. We also have a principal. His name is Mr. Lowe. He is the very saddest man that any of us know. He mumbles, "Are they learning this and that and such?" His face is wrinkled as a prune from worrying so much. He breaks a lot of pencil leads from pushing down too hard, and many dogs start barking as he walks about the yard. We think he wears false eyebrows. In fact, we know it's so. We've heard he takes them off at night. I guess we'll never know. The story goes on, and they introduce all the different teachers at Diffendorfer's school. And then we come to the part that says, we have 3 cooks, all named McMunch, who merrily prepare our lunch. They make us hot dogs, beans, and fries, plus things we do not recognize. As they cook, they sing their song, not too short and not too long. Roast and toast and slice and dice, cooking lunch is oh so nice. We were eating their concoctions, telling jokes and making noise, when Mr. Lowe appeared and howled, "Attention, girls and boys!" He began to fuss and fidget, scratch and smutter, sneeze and cough. He shook his head so hard we thought his eyebrows would come off. He wrung his hands and cleared his throat. He shed a single tear and then sobbed, "I've something to announce, and that is why I'm here. All schools for miles and miles around must take a special test to see who's learning such and such and see which school's the best. If our small school does not do well, then it will be torn down, and you will have to go to school in dreary Flobbertown." "Not Flobbertown," we shouted, and we shuddered at the name, for everyone in Flobbertown does everything the same. It's miserable in Flobbertown. They dress in just one style. They sing one song, they never dance. They march in single file. They do not have a playground. They do not have a park. Their lunches have no taste at all. Their dogs are scared to bark. Miss Bonkers rose. "Don't fret," she said. "You've learned the things you need to pass that test and many more. I'm certain you'll succeed. We've taught you that the earth is round, that red and white make pink, and something else that matters more. We've taught you how to think." "I hope you're right," sighed Mr. Lowe. He shed another tear. "The test is in 10 minutes, and you're taking it right here." We sat in shock and disbelief. "Oh no," we moaned, "oh no." We were even more unhappy than unhappy Mr. Lowe. But then the test was handed out. "Yahoo!" we yelled, "Yahoo!" For it was filled with all the things that we all knew we knew. There were questions about noodles, about poodles, frogs, and yelling, about listening and laughing, chrysanthemums and smelling. There were questions about other things we'd never seen or heard, and yet somehow we answered them, enjoying every word. 1 week later, Mr. Lowe meandered in. We'd never seen him smile before, but now he wore a grin. He soon began to giggle, and his giggle grew by half, and then it really happened. Mr. Lowe began to laugh. "You've saved our school! You've saved our school!" he jubilantly roared. "We've got the very highest score!" He wrote it on the board. Miss Bonkers did some cartwheels till her face turned cherry red. She bounded up to Mr. Lowe and kissed him on the head. "Hooray, hooray," she shouted. "I am so proud I cannot speak." She did another cartwheel and she pecked him on the cheek. Mr. Lowe said, "You all deserve a bow, and thus I declare a holiday. It starts exactly now. Because you've done so splendidly, in every sort of way, this day shall ever be known as Diffendorfer Day. And furthermore, I promise I won't ever wear a frown, for now I know we'll never go to dreary Flobbertown." Then we held a celebration. There was pizza, milk, and cake. Like everyone, I ate too much and got a bellyache. We laughed and hooped and hollered the entire school day long. And then we sang triumphantly the Diffendufer song. So I hope you enjoy that story and can hear some of the messages there. One might even be to trust the path that we're on, even if it doesn't look like everybody else's path. We certainly don't want to live in dreary Flobbertown, do we? We want to enjoy life. We want to be alive, awake, and alert to all that Spirit has for us. Another message we can learn from this story is to have confidence that what we need to know, we will know. You see, there's only one mind, and we all use that same mind. It's the mind of God. Therefore, infinite wisdom is available to each and every one of us. Have you ever had the situation where you said something and it was the perfect thing to say, but you had no idea where that answer came from? Can you believe that it's Spirit giving you exactly what you need? We must do our work of learning how to think. And when we do that, we can think by using spiritual principles and applying them to our lives. The author Meredith Sinclair said, "Being playful is a key component in making us happier, healthier, more present and connected in all of our relationships." And Deborah Rebel is quoted as saying, "Being playful is naturally liberates the mind, opens the heart, and lifts the spirit." Take time to play today. So I invite you this week to stop and play with some of these ideas of science of mind, to think about, as we did in our meditation today, how you might think differently if you were applying these principles. Principles like God is all there is. There's not two powers fighting for control of your life. It's not God and the devil. There is only God, the good. And we're all one human family. No one is better than anyone else. And when we see that we are all children of the one God, we can see that divine spark in each and every one of us. How about the truth that love is more powerful than hate? We can choose our attitude so that we're showing love each and every day. And that means we can start showing love to ourselves and then showing love to others. The creative process is going to be working through our thoughts all the time. So let's make sure that we play with positive thoughts. We play with loving thoughts, because we know that whatever we put out into the world will return to us. Let us pray. Spirit, we pause and take in this message. The message of living as spiritual beings, that we are doing life by using that are spiritual based thoughts, that we live by spiritual principle and universal truths. Open our minds to accept, open our minds and hearts to be able to pull from that infinite wisdom what it is that we need for each and every day, each and every experience we have. Help us that we can bless each other as we realize and are grateful that our lives are blessed as well. As we keep our minds open, Spirit, help us that we can continue to bless and love the world around us, to shine the light of God into the world, that others will see that light and be attracted to it. We are grateful, grateful for gratitude, grateful for our life, and grateful to know spiritual truths that guide us on a positive path in life. Knowing this is the truth for each and every one of us, I joyfully release my word into the spiritual law that is always listening. I release it, I let it go, and so it is.
And so it is.
And now Tammy will lead us in our prosperity section.
All right. So, unfortunately, I don't have the prosperity prayer up. Pat has the basket up. And I know a prosperity prayer that is good every day, all the time. Oh, well, where is it? Okay, here it is. Yeah, I'll say it and then we'll say it together. This week's prosperity affirmation is, I am blessed and I am grateful for all that I have. Yes. And if you'll share with me, please. I am blessed and I am grateful for all that I have. Yes. Thank you, Pat.
And now let me say a quick blessing over our prosperity basket for all the gifts, all the tithes, all the offerings that each one gives, knowing that as we give, we also receive. And so I bless each gift, I bless each giver, knowing that abundance is all there is, for it's available throughout the world. And so it is.
And so it is. Yes.
Yes. And announcements this week. We have one announcement, and Tammy, you know what that is.
I certainly do. You are all magnificent. Please remember that and know that all day, every day. You are magnificent. Thank you.
Yes, you are. All right. And so I will share our closing song. And our closing song is I Am Peace. And this is by Kai Lee.
I am peace, I am joy, I am love. I am peace, I am joy, I am love. I am in harmony with everything, it's a part of me. I am peace, I am joy, I am love. You are peace, you are joy, you are love. You are peace, you are joy, you are love. You are in harmony with everything. God is all you see. You are peace, you are joy, you are love. We are peace, we are joy, we are love. We are peace, we are joy, we are love. We are in harmony with everything. God is all we see. We are peace, we are joy, we are love. We are peace, we are joy, we are love.
And for our benediction, we know the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.